If you're looking for some unique and original music that doesn't cave to a genre, follow us at Replicant Band. Link is in the description. Today, I wanted to touch on an artist that has been requested constantly for me to look into. And as you can see by the title, we're going to be looking at previous member of rap collective Odd Future, Earl Sweatshirt. Earl was born on the 24th of February 1994 in Illinois, and from a young age was infatuated with rap artists such as MF Doom and Jay-Z, as well as several other more experimental artists such as Radiohead. Starting around 2008, Earl had started making some raps and started posting these to his MySpace account. He went under the alias of Sly Tendencies and showed off his lyrical talent by rapping over several different beats from albums such as Mad Villainy. He packaged these songs in a mixtape called Kitchen Cutlery. This gained Earl a small amount of attention at the time, but for the most part he's still basically unknown. However, this is where he was then discovered by another MySpace artist, known at the time as Ace the Creator. He invited Earl to join his new rap collective he was founding known as Odd Future. Earl accepted the offer and as a result officially changed his rap name to Earl Sweatshirt. This led to around a year of work being put into a new mixtape, which had the majority of production done by Ace the Creator, who had by this point also renamed himself to Tyler the Creator. The mixtape, titled Earl, released on March 31st, 2010 on the Odd Future website and was met with a large amount of interest and critical acclaim. The album had several features from artists like Vince Staples, Hodgy Beats, and of course Tyler the Creator. Tyler had a huge input on this album, contributing not only to the bulk of production, but also was featured on the majority of writing credits. The style of the album had this dark, distorted feel to it, and the lyrical content had large part to do with the acceptability of what you can and can't say in a rap song. With constant aspects being brought up such as rape, murder, and hatred of school, it's clear to see that there was a side of trying to shock people into getting more people to share their music. My personal highlights on the album are the songs Earl, with its distorted minimalist beat, paired with the somewhat disturbing lyricism at points, making a great introduction for the style Earl was going to be taking with the album. I also like the song Couch, with again this minimalist production and catchy lead synth line, and also having Tyler go back and forth with Earl on this track is really good to hear. Earl's lyricism doesn't really feel stunted at any point during this project, as these slick flows and clever wordplay stay very consistent throughout the whole album, especially impressive considering Earl was only 16 around the recording of this album. After Earl, as well as Odd Future, got this huge amount of exposure and acclaim, Earl seemed to disappear. Tyler the Creator tweeted in relation to this at the time, perhaps alluding to the fact that Earl was being held back from hanging out with Odd Future. This led fans of the ever-growing rap collective to start the message Free Earl, as after the release of his music videos, he was pretty much gone. What people didn't know is that Earl had been sent to Samoa by his mother due to getting into some trouble with his friends and was enrolled into Coral Reef Academy, which was a therapeutic retreat school for at-risk boys. During this period, he worked to earn back privileges, such as going to the toilet unsupervised. It's easy to say that Earl despised this period. Eventually, Earl was taken back to the US by his manager, Leela Steinberg. It wasn't until the start of 2012, however, where rumours were starting to spread that Earl had landed back in the US. He later made this a confirmation on his Twitter account, and after that it wasn't long until he made his first appearance performing on the track Oldie, where he performed a verse that was written during his time in Samoa. After this, he started getting featured on several artists' new albums, such as Frank Ocean's Channel Orange, Domo Genesis's No Idols, and Casey Veggie's Customized Greatly 3. These features from Earl were great for the fans to hear, however everyone was still asking for Earl to drop a full album of his own. It was on November 2nd where fans were treated to the single Chum, coming off of his newest album, Doris. However, it wasn't until almost a year later, on August 20th, 2013, that people finally got to experience Earl's long-awaited return in the form of an album. With Earl now being a much more prominent figure in the rap game, it opened up so many more doors for the artists he could use to get his album sounding as best as possible. This meant getting other various artists that could help him produce the album, with people like Pharrell Williams, Bad Bad Not Good, and yet again Tyler the Creator, all being listed in the production credits. However, for a large majority of the songs on this album, it seems that Earl had improved his technical skill when it comes to producing a track, with lots of the songs on this album being produced mainly by Earl. The album also includes many more features on the tracks, with rappers like Vince Staples, Mac Miller, and Domo Genesis all contributing to tracks on the album. Upon Doris's release, like his previous project, it was met with wide critical acclaim, as well as making Earl an even more prominent figure in the rap game. Earl returned with his monotone, lyrically rich verses, with beats that had been refined even further from his previous project. Quoting William Gruger's Billboard review, "What follows is a slow, introspective album, where Earl Sweatshirt combats pressures when returning to a life of stardom, after time spent at Samoa-based boarding school for troubled youths." Doris was placed on several Album of the Year lists, as Earl seemed to start reaching a whole new level of stardom. For the most part, Earl's personal life seemed to be doing well, so after a couple years of posting to social media and announcing that he had an album in the works, on March 23rd, 2015, Earl released his second studio album, I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside. On this album, it seemed that Earl had improved his production skills even further from Doris, with every track apart from the song Off Top being produced by himself. It seemed that Earl was now technically versed enough in creating his music that the majority of production could now be taken on alone, letting Earl create the exact vision he wants. Like his previous albums, Earl continues with the gritty underground style of production, paired with his now staple wordplay and lyricism. However, it seems that the usual darkness and pessimism that was seen on his previous albums has been brought up to a whole nother level, with personal highlights for me such as Wall, Mantra and Off Top all feeling even more dark and depressing, as well as introspective on Earl's part. We can even see this reflected in the extremely minimalist and basic title, with this depressing message of I don't like shit, I don't go outside being surrounded and almost engulfed in darkness.
I Don't Like Shit is way more uncompromising. It is not looking to please anybody. It's despondent, it's depressing, and as if this is a surprise given the title, it's antisocial. The slightly claustrophobic and lo-fi production and the kind of loud mixing of the vocals definitely give the feeling that Earl is like holed up somewhere in like a very small, smoky, very dimly lit room recording and writing this music.
It's around this period where Earl started to not care as much about how people perceive him and his art, and just started creating whatever he wanted, as well as in whatever quantity he wanted. This resulted in him dropping some random tracks on SoundCloud at the start of 2016, under the alias of Random Black Dude. Earl kept releasing tracks on SoundCloud throughout the year, as well as featuring on several tracks from other artists, one of my personal favourites being from Danny Brown's Atrocity Exhibition in the song Really Though. Eventually though, Earl went quiet. Unfortunately, at the start of 2018, Earl's father passed away. Earl commented on their relationship by saying, "Me and my dad had a relationship that's not uncommon for people to have with their fathers, which is a non-perfect one. Talking to him is symbolic and non-symbolic, but it's literally closure for my childhood. Not getting to have that moment left me to figure out a lot with my damn self." This put Earl into an extremely bad spot, with him even cancelling his tour, citing depression and anxiety as the reasons. With this extremely broken mindset and the depressing state Earl was in, he released his third studio album, Some Rap Songs, on November 30th, 2018. The state Earl was in is entirely reflected with the sonic direction of the album, with the lyricism as well as the instrumentals, making it one of the most depressing rap albums I've personally ever listened to. Earl's tone on pretty much every song is very monotone, even compared to his previous albums, with Earl frequently repeating certain phrases, which is paired up with the frequent usage of looping in the beats. The album feels really isolated. With songs like Red Water, Earl is almost overshadowed by the somewhat creepy, distorted beat, with his lyrics being hollow and echoey. It's easily some of Earl's best work, with the production being pretty much immaculate, taking from his previous projects and refining the distorted darkness. The album gives itself an atmosphere that just is above the levels of his previous work in so many ways. It feels much rawer than his previous projects as well. However, it goes about this in a different way. Whereas Earl used to use controversial bars and bad language to try and make his work appear darker, here Earl simply puts his true emotions he was feeling at the time into the music, which makes everything come off as a whole lot more pessimistic and realistic. Some of my personal highlights on the album are the songs Lucy, with its constant looping beat, with the distorted and modulated guitar lines giving me chills whenever they reappear. Nowhere to Go, which I think is a perfect song to sum up the direction of the album, with the distorted beat in the back, with several audio samples constantly being brought in and out of the beat to create a bizarre atmosphere. And finally, Red Water, a song that genuinely freaks me out as well as being weirdly quite comforting. The downright otherworldly sounds of the vocals are so weird, but having that paired with the off-kilter drum patterns, as well as the soulful guitar and bass, makes the song sound like the encapsulation of Earl's mindset at the time. Some Rap Songs is hands down my favourite Earl project, as he paired his emotions with his refined production skills to create an otherworldly rap experience. It may not seem like it, but he was also taking a huge risk with this album, as in a lot of ways it's quite a big jump from his previous work, with the whole album taking a much more experimental direction compared to his usual hip-hop style that he was now known for. At this point, Earl doesn't care what any of his fans or critics think of his music. He's just using it as a form to express his artistry, his thoughts, and his emotions. Some Rap Songs is also his shortest album, clocking in at 24 minutes, where most of the 15 songs that are included in the album rarely end up lasting longer than 2 minutes. There's only so much of this depressing stuff that a person can hear before they just don't want to listen to it anymore, because it's simply too hard to listen to. Upon its release, much like all of Earl's other projects, Some Rap Songs was met with huge amounts of critical acclaim from critics and fans alike, with people praising Earl for the brilliant lo-fi production and the sad, bizarre vibe that surrounds the entire project. And with that, it essentially leads us up to the present, where for the most part Earl has stayed quiet outside of some posts on social media, with fans waiting for him to drop another substantial project. There was 2019's Feet of Clay EP, although for the most part this felt more like some of the leftovers from Some Rap Songs. Throughout all of his projects, we can see the progression of Earl, not only as an artist, but also as a person. With Earl starting his rap career at such a young age, it's more surprising that for the most part, he's managed to stay consistently brilliant throughout all of his work, and has only seemed to get better with every new release. Here's to hoping Earl's next album comes sooner rather than later. I hope you guys enjoyed this vid. If you did, a like and subscribe would be much appreciated in supporting the channel. If you want me to make any specific videos about an artist in the future, let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.